Amsterdam, a city known for its picturesque canals and vibrant tulips, became an unexpected scene of chaos and fear this week. Israeli soccer fans who had traveled to the city for a highly anticipated Europa League match found themselves targeted in a series of violent and unprovoked attacks. The incidents have not only shocked the local community, but have also sparked international outrage and condemnation. Authorities are now working tirelessly to bring the perpetrators to justice. They are conducting thorough investigations and increasing security measures to prevent any further violence. The violence has raised serious questions about the underlying issues of anti-Semitism and fan violence that continue to plague the sport. It has also highlighted the urgent need for greater security measures at sporting events, prompting calls for stricter regulations and better crowd control. The attacks have left many residents and visitors feeling shaken and afraid, casting a shadow over what should have been a joyous sporting occasion. Vigils and memorials have been held across the city as people come together to mourn and call for peace. Community leaders are urging unity and resilience in the face of such adversity, emphasizing the importance of standing together against hate and violence. As Amsterdam tries to heal, the hope is that the city can return to its peaceful and welcoming nature, where soccer can once again be a source of joy and unity rather than division and fear. The Europa League match between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax Amsterdam was supposed to be a celebration of sport, a moment where fans from different backgrounds could come together and enjoy the beautiful game. Instead, it became a flashpoint for tensions that had been brewing for days, with emotions running high and tempers flaring. Reports emerged of taxi drivers refusing service to Israeli fans, a clear indication of the underlying animosities that were bubbling to the surface. Social media was flooded with hateful messages and threats, amplifying the already charged atmosphere. People took to their keyboards to express their anger and frustration, further fueling the fire. The atmosphere in the city was tense with an air of unease that was palpable. Residents and visitors alike could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on them. Many feared that the match could be a catalyst for violence, a spark that could ignite the simmering tensions into a full-blown conflict. Conversations in cafes and on street corners were dominated by concerns over what might happen. Their fears would soon be realized as the match descended into chaos. Clashes broke out between fans and police were forced to intervene to restore order. What was meant to be a joyous occasion turned into a night of turmoil and unrest. The violence began on Thursday, just days before the match. A group of Israeli fans were attacked outside a casino. Witnesses reported seeing men armed with bats and knives. One fan was seriously injured. The violence continued throughout the weekend. Israeli fans were harassed, threatened, and physically assaulted. Shops and restaurants owned by Jewish people were vandalized. The attacks left many feeling terrified and helpless. The attacks in Amsterdam have been met with widespread condemnation. World leaders have spoken out against the violence. President Biden called the attacks despicable and unacceptable. The Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice. Jewish communities around the world have expressed outrage and fear. Many are calling for increased security measures at synagogues and other Jewish institutions. The attacks are a stark reminder of the persistent threat of anti-Semitism. Amsterdam authorities have launched a full-scale investigation into the recent attacks that have shaken the city. The police are working around the clock to gather all possible evidence and ensure that justice is served. Police are meticulously reviewing security footage from various locations and interviewing numerous witnesses to piece together the events leading up to the attacks. They are leaving no stone unturned in their quest to identify and apprehend the culprits. Their efforts have already borne fruit, as they have made several arrests in connection with the incidents. These suspects are currently being interrogated, and more arrests are expected as the investigation progresses. In response to the attacks, the city has significantly increased security measures around Jewish institutions and in areas where Israeli fans are staying. This includes heightened police patrols and the establishment of checkpoints in busy areas to ensure the safety of all residents and visitors. The Dutch government has also stepped in, pledging to take a tough stance against the perpetrators. Government officials have held press conferences to reassure the public that they are committed to bringing those responsible to justice. They have promised swift and severe punishment for those found guilty, emphasizing that such acts of violence and hatred will not be tolerated in the Netherlands. The judicial system is prepared to handle these cases with the utmost seriousness. In addition to law enforcement efforts, the government has announced plans to increase funding for programs aimed at combating anti-Semitism and promoting tolerance. These initiatives include educational programs and community outreach efforts designed to foster understanding and unity among different groups.